The next song, next song is the one that I was talking about before this, which is Towers and Talal Qureshi. Towers again, uh, very unique sound. Like they have Asher is a big hip hop name, but his work is also different. To like, there's a big school of young stunners sort of rappers. There's a Karachi sound, I think, which is I would lump in my generalistic endeavors. I would put Young Stunners there, LUG there, and then there's a lot of like connecting threads where you can see how this guy is clearly influenced by them, or they may be part of the same circle. So there's like a number of artists who have that sound. Then the Lahore people, I think, don't have that sort of homogeneous kind of vibe, because Manu is very different to Faris. Faris is obviously king right now, but there are very unique people there. Towers again, they came out with, like, I suppose you call them like pop when they came out. Very different to what was happening at the scene. They had like their own
Mm-hmm.
set sound,
Mm.
and I assumed that they were all not from Pakistan, and I think they were. Turns out, because I heard they were on somebody's podcast, and they're like, "Oh, hum Karachi ke hain." So how did you do this? And that continues here in this song as well. Very, very Towers sound. This,
It's very electronic.
yes,
The voices are very also, especially Bilal's voice is very peculiar, very particular, right?
yes,
Like it's kind of raspy but also high. You
yes,
don't get that very
yes,
much. Like
yes,
usually voices that are low tend to
yeah,
get raspy.
yeah,
Voices that are high tend to be clearer. His
yeah,
voice is high and raspy.
yeah,
So and then he does like kind of word plays. The way they write the lyrics are
yeah,
very particular. तो एक वो बिलाल की आवाज है जिसकी वजह से I think that gets their sound very particular, and then they're very
yeah,
electronic in the sort of they're not
and sort of like chill, laid back. Also, the music,
हाँ pop बना रहे हैं ना basically,
yeah,
like it's kind of think of it, it's almost like the same thing that Hassan Rahim kind of is doing in terms of Abdullah Kasumbi is doing, is like electro pop, but
yeah,
these guys are almost like catchier, like it's
yeah,
sort of less, there's
but
less happening in the music.
dark
um
vibes throughout.
हाँ like
Relaxed,
it's not
sinister
eh,
vibes.
right, like there's a bit of kind of broodiness to it.
Yes, yes,
um
yes,
Acha, but then Ashir has started rapping
yes. I
in the
was telling
later
Sarkhail
music.
that, Sarkhail, have you heard this new guy, Asher? He just showed up. Why don't he? And then Sarkhail told me that he has been in Towers from the beginning. And I was like,
But he wasn't rapping in the beginning, at least in a
yeah,
couple of songs.
yeah,
So I think आपने जो रैप की बात की ना, पाकिस्तानी रैप समझने के दो तीन broad lens है.
right,
There is, in terms of sound, there is what I call lyrical rap and pop rap. So lyrical
sure,
rap is kind of what like Forest does, right? Which
right.
is that the words are more important than the melody.
Hmm.
And then the pop rap is like kind of what Hassan does, kind of what Manu does in some instances, right? Like
Right.
Manu jab, what's a good Manu? Like ख्वाब जैसे मानू को पहला गाना था पहली एल्बम पे, like that's very kind of pop rap, like you can sing
Yeah.
along to it,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not
The
really
musicality
singing.
is a big thing.
right
Yeah.
right but it's not like कि वो बहुत कोई ना सुर आ रहा है ऊपर नीचे का.
Right.
So
Of
that's why
course.
it's like more rap than singing. So for me
Sure.
that is kind of the pop rap genre.
Yeah.
So that's one way of understanding it.
Right.
The second thing is the kind of almost cultural background of the rap.
Sure.
So जो हम वो कराची rappers की बात करते हैं, part of the reason why it all feels the same is because the cultural background of all of it is
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Which is they're like urban difficulties.
Yeah. Karachi stuff.
but मतलब और शहरों में भी आता है, but that is like basically
Yeah.
where it is, the theme is about
Struggle.
just struggle, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
they
there is
also
this
veer towards like the poetry rap almost. Like the youngster
right.
Tala Anjum is very heavy, and I see that also in separate people like Bol Jani. Jani also has a lot of like, because I heard there was a song with that, I think this was not one of the rap songs, but one of the songs had ilham in the lyrics. And I was like, this is not a word I expected in pop music.
नहीं, उन लोगों की references हैं थोड़ी like poetry वाली.
Heavier. Yeah.
So and in a way I think जो वो lyrical rap और जो ये जो मैं struggle rap बता रहा हूँ ना, culturally like there's an overlap there. Like most of the struggle rap tends to be lyrical.
Right.
And then there is this like sometimes we'll call it Lahore, sometimes we'll call it like Burger, Rich Kid, whatever. But basically there is rap that is not about struggle, which is not to say that these people don't have struggle in their lives, but that is not what the music is about.
Yeah, yeah.
So the themes tend to be more like pop song related.
Yeah, and even if there is struggle, it's more like intra-industry struggle, where there's like, you want me on your song, but I'm bigger than you, that sort of thing, which is also there in lyrical rap as well, which I think this is a common hip-hop thing.
I think it's a common hip-hop thing, but so मेरे लिए like Rosio, Manu, Ashir, Hassan, even Faris, like they are in this, they are not in the struggle rap category for me, because that is not the themes that their music are predominantly talking about. The themes of their music are predominantly the same as the themes of any pop music. So I think Ashir fits into that category.
Right. Okay.
Right, like that's my view of it. Like I don't think of Towers as, I think of Towers more as relating to like Manu, Talal, Hassan. Then they relate to like Talanjum and Tala Yunus. Right? Yeah. So
even though Ashir's rap is like decidedly not like happy, fun kind of stuff, like tones, but it's also not my city is falling apart. Yeah.
So like thematically, like that's how I categorize them. For me, that makes it sort of easy to categorize. But Ashir, the thing about him is that his tone is like amazing. Right, in terms of he has this sort of one very particular tone when he raps, and a lot of criticism that I hear about a lot of Pakistani hip hop, especially like very young people, is that they haven't quite figured out their tone.
Right.
And Ashir is like way ahead in that game. Like he doesn't have a lot of like
mature.
So that's always like really great to hear. So Towers don't really put out like a bad song, right? Like you don't see an unfinished song from them. Very much. They tends to always be very polished, very well rounded. And then once you put Talal into the mix, I think that like Talal also has that same level of polish that he puts out. So you can hear that in the two songs that they have put out in one track.